series of supposed friends. And so I said, well, I understand your concerns, but you would write to help people see more clearly why and how the events were shaped in perspective during your time. Not to open old wounds, but after all, old wounds can be healed by time, which is the essence of healing in the past. It is in the spirit, my friends, that I wrote this book, Fight for the Filipino. I started it in 2005 after I resigned as ambassador to China, the background and the details of which are embodied in that book. And I continued to write even as I had the privilege of participating in some of the unfolding events until the manuscript was completed at the end of 2007. Amid the unfolding events told in that book, however, the bedrock is the Filipino himself. Now 90 million people across the universe, increasing in numbers daily, yet deteriorating in the wake of worsening poverty. May we take time out to acknowledge the presence of President Joseph Erap Estrada, What is the destiny of the Filipino? When will he find his place in the sun? Is it true that the Filipino is lazy, undisciplined? God forbid! Because the 10 million overseas Filipino workers who work abroad belie such allegations. Foreigners there attest to the fortitude of the Filipino. They want our nurses. They cite our seamen's capacity, his reliability in diverse fields of various endeavors. My friends, it was in 1994, I think, during the presidency of Fidel Valdez Ramos, when he requested the then Vice President of the land, Joseph Ejercito Estrada, to represent him in the celebration of Independence Day by the Filipinos in San Francisco, California. Vice President Erap went to the United States and from there called up President Ramos long distance. And he said, Mr. President, everything is ready here in California. And the Filipinos are animated to celebrate and commemorate Independence Day. President Ramos, in return, said, thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. Pero Erap, ilang araw ka lang dyan sa California. Ang galing-galing mo na mag-English. And so, Erap responded, Mr. President, my English goes with the environment. That humorous exchange reveals many things in contrast. As a frequent traveler once told me, the Filipino abroad obeys the law because it applies equally to all. But here, he often hesitates because of a perceived double standard of justice. The Filipino there willingly pays taxes, knowing he will get back communal benefits in return. Here, he harbors grave misgivings. The Filipino abroad voluntarily offers time, energy, effort for the welfare of others. But here, he is hampered by poverty and the nagging doubts about ultimate benefits. It is the environment that influences a man. Concrete examples that count. Because environment and example comprise the easiest lessons to perceive and to follow. As in a family where there exists sincerity, then the members provide for serenity. And vice versa, where there exudes thievery, the members are prone to follow, sadly. We wonder, is this why we have become economically backward? Despite the fact that in the 1950s we stood second only to Japan in this region, and why in seeming desperation we have been judged the most corrupt nation in East Asia. Why a number of us still suffer the blight of torture and enforced disappearances in the night. This nation does not lack natural resources, nor acumen, nor capital, for we continue to borrow now more than $56 billion. Why then have we not adequately progressed? The Filipino is poor not because he is poor, but because he is not given the means for empowerment, often denied the fisherman, the worker, the farmer, seemingly destined to live their lives as farmer, fisherman, worker, with hardly any legacy to pass on to their children. No vision, no plans to empower, no opportunities to tap. Because otherwise, if there were, we would not see the sight of thousands lining up every day applying to leave the land. We would not see or hear of a farmer abandoning his farm, or the student leaving the school to pursue his dreams abroad. We must therefore resolutely ask, what is the answer? Where the solution? How do we prevent a national disaster 1,000 times worse than the tragedy of the Princess of the Stars? Because this slowing degradation of the Filipino saps into the soul